information for the speakers so you can get in contact with them after convention for questions.
Good one.
Perfect. Yeah. Okay. Number 2.
Hey, take a moment for yourself that you don't become overwhelmed with information. In other words, take some downtime to rest.
Excellent. Yeah. Number 3.
Don't think you have to implement everything as soon as you get back.
Number 4.
Be sure to ask any questions regarding the challenge you are facing with your class, school, student body, staff, or CATA members are willing to share ideas, tips, and resources, but you have to ask.
All right.
Larry, would you introduce?
Yes, sorry. I was wondering when a good time was. This is Laura Castro. She is going to be our coordinator for next year. So after convention, she's taken over. So our assistant coordinator, she's knows more than I ever will. So she's amazing. She's going to be here, and then she's going to be joining us today. So
literally new to convention.
Yeah.
So excited that you joined us here. I don't. Am I on 5?
I don't think she knew what she was getting into.
Yeah, I know. She came and me doing the little thing.
I know. I was like,
5.
All right, make sure to take a break. There's always so much to do, and sometimes you need a break to process it all. It's okay to skip one thing so you can download and unplug.
All right.
Ooh, Number 6.
Go to the suite events at night to meet new people.
Woo!
Number 7.
I have a novel.
And actually, like, I'll show you the cast that's doing this because they actually did a really good job when we taped it and they were pretending to be you. Especially that one, that's why we cut it off because that one was originally longer about going to the suites, but really didn't want them to say anything other than that. And it was and it's funny, it's Lauren leading it on the tape, so it's funny for you. But obviously, like, you wouldn't be reading these. Like, you really want the person to feel passionate about whatever it is they're going to say. Have you already read this once?
No.
Oh, okay. I was going to make you do it without it.
All right. Choose one area you like to concentrate on and just focus on that. Let the other stuff go by as interesting, but know that you have to absorb it all at once. For instance, one year I focused on communication techniques. Another year I focused on curriculum for class. Another year I focused on the ways to grow my own leadership skills.
That's a good one.
Wow.
Really good one.
Yeah, I got that right. Good. Number 8.
If you're here with a group of people, try and split up and go to different sessions so that you can get more information and ideas.
Put yourself out there. Take a risk and go out of your comfort zone. Talk to new people and ask to join their group. You'll have an even better convention experience and will take back tons of great ideas to your school.
And last but not least, number 10 that you should make sure you should do here at the CATA convention to be set up for success is
Attend the speakers forums because I didn't have a pool of speakers to draw from. It's always best to hire those you have personally heard speak before.
Good one.
Excellent. So we'll kind of talk about this later, but this is from Area A Council that I got from last year. So I feel that you all know your areas well. And like if I was the Area G person, I would probably put out an email to all the Area G people and say, like, what's your number 1 tip? So it's very personal for them. And so they get to say their own tip. Obviously, like showing what's already been said, so you don't want repetitive ones. But and so also they're not reading them, but like literally it's coming from the heart kind of thing. So I just set it up so we had to read it, but it's all good. Okay. And then what we would do at the end, and I have examples. So this is like pass it out to everyone. Because I'm a visual learner, and just hearing you say that, I'd be like, I just remember people clapping. So I also typed them all up, and then I would pass them out for everybody. It's like sort of get in the moment. Okay, so
when we're doing it, we're going to go to this group has number 1, and this group has number 2, and
exactly.
this group has got it.
Exactly. And I'll show you this part on the tape, kind of what it looks like.
Each group has only 1 number.
Right. Or each group, it should be
Unless you have
each
small
facilitator. True that, and we'll talk about that's what kind of Ron was alluding to earlier. Like all of this, and we'll go over later, is very dependent on the numbers that you have. Like this is set up for, a group of 10 of 10, kind of like a leadership development day. So, when I walked in, because I ran around quickly last year to see how you all were doing. You guys were doing the full one when I ran into B, and I was just cracking up. And then somebody else was on the Q&A, and they're like, so here's what you could do, But the numbers were all over the place. And so, like, that's what is going to make this really tricky, and for you to, like, trying to set you up to have as many supplies as you would possibly need, but you may not need them all.
So if you have a larger group than 100, then only 10 people on your council would speak.
Yes.
And the other groups would just be cheering them
Exactly.
on and it's
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I say more than 10's a lot,
Yeah.
you know.
And then, also you would suggest asking our own council members to make these top 10s, but share this list and say, here's an example. Do you have one that you would like to
Yeah.
mention, especially by area, because every area has a different,
Exactly.
need.
Right, and that's why I was
Okay.
thinking it that way, where I use this generic one, and these are really good. And I also
Yeah.
really loved, Allison, I don't know if this was you that led this, or John, or who was doing it at the time, but I love that they put their council member's name after there also. And I just thought that was really cool to do, because if you had questions about it, you could go to the person. Also giving them credit, you know, just like, it's cool to like, I'm all about like share the spotlight, give
So
credit.
we're gonna do 2 top 10s, or we're gonna have our own area top 10.
No, just this one, like this was, these are my examples.
Okay.
And you could just use this one. Like if you're like, oh gosh, I blew it, the week before the conference, this is fine, and it would work just as well. But, you know, if you're that very personal, like I really want my council to be involved and engaged, and I want it to come from them, I would email them out and kind of ask for that. Okay, so after this one, we're gonna grab our chairs and just move into the circle a little bit.
Thank you.
Thanks, Margaret.
No, you got it. Good thing you woke up, sorry. And they didn't even update you, like, until you got there.
Oh, they didn't know, we were in the plane, they started the engine, we were ready to take off at 6:30, right on time. And what's having some mechanical difficulties, we're gonna have to go back. And then it was like, it might be an hour, it might be 15 minutes, it turned out to be a sensor of some kind, but it was, I got it at 3:30,
Okay.
why?
So up to now, we kind of have gotten to know each other a little bit, but it's really helpful if you kind of know where everyone's coming from and how we can help each other out. Is why we really, like as an Area G council, we're a really small council, and so it's really important for us to like stay everyone connected, because we need as many people as possible on our council, and we want all of them. So we're just gonna go around the circle and share, like, who are you? What school are you representing while you're here? As well as what do you think your biggest success has been this year? And what's something that you're struggling with that we may be able to help you? And we might not answer that question right now, we might just put it out there, and then later, because this section only has like 10 minutes, if you have 10 people, it's literally like a minute per person, which I realize is not much. So I feel like it's like kind of just putting bits out there, and especially like as the facilitator, like Leslie said, 20 like Joe's leading this group, I would really hope that he would take this in and be like, you know what, I'm gonna go look for that answer for that person, because they asked and they're part of my group. Like, and I'll talk about it later, but this whole thing is really, that you really want these 8 people connected to your council person, this one person. Because again, it's kind of like the puzzle thing, like I learned as the Area G coordinator, like you can only do so much. And then after that, you're not really answering everyone's email. You know, I have like 6,000 right now in my inbox. I'm like, really? I need people to like help you with those, you know, kind of thing. So we'll start off with you, Lisa, and just like what school do you represent? Because you may not be an ASB activities director here today. You may be an administrator, like so.
Okay, I'm Miss Walters, and I'm from Pioneer Valley High School. The biggest success
this year.
is an amazing group of kids who just are very motivated, and they have ideas I never would have thought of, and that's my biggest success. I guess my biggest challenge is on a campus of 2,900 students, it's very hard to get everybody or do things that everybody enjoys, and I want to figure out how I can do that.
Great question. So we'll kind of all remember that and see where we go.
Yeah, Larry Lopez, I'm from Branham High School. Biggest success, I think, has been connecting with the staff and students since I'm new to this school, or coming back, I guess. So that's been really rewarding. I think the hardest thing is working with a principal who maybe doesn't really get the whole picture, and so just trying to figure out how to support her vision, but then also what's best for the school and what's best for kids.
Because you're an admin now,
Mhm.
correctly? So like, it's interesting, I don't know how we're gonna divide up later, but just like, as you're facilitating, you may wanna throw this out there, because if I had an admin in my group, I get really excited, and I'm like, what would be your best advice to us as activities directors from an admin position? What do you have?
Best advice I would say is, you know, I think as activities directors, you probably don't get supported quite as much as you need it to, but know that there are people somewhere on your campus who do support it, and even if they're not telling you great job today or yet tomorrow, somewhere down the road someone will appreciate it, and when your kids get older, they'll talk about the events that they had, not the test that they took now.
So just remembering, that's why we're in it.
Yeah.
Excellent. And we have a new person to our group.
Yes, Laura Castro, and I'm at Harvest Park Middle School in Pleasanton. And I think the best thing that we find happening this year is that we have a new person who took over leadership, who's willing to work as a group and work with other staff, and so we're pulling everybody together that way, and our ASB is really strong. Our challenge is that continuing revolving door of principals, and we have a current principal who looked at me and said, well, you've been to CATA 16 times, why on earth would you need to go again? So,
Wow.
we'll educate you.
Yeah. And if anyone has an answer, I'm thinking back to this, if anybody does have a quick answer that really pops in, feel free to, say that part. John?
I'll go back a few years to what would be a year. I think our biggest success this year was a pretty much all-inclusive homecoming time. It wasn't just the dance and the game. During the week, that's when we had our best activities, because we were able to get smaller groups involved in each day and each different activity that we had. Biggest challenge would be having the new school cherry pick our best teachers, and got to get the ball, and so we have our top third best teachers are gone, and so with that loss of spirit among the staff, having them buy into activities.
Interesting. Denise?
Denise Van Dorn, Bear Valley Middle, and our greatest successes are our dances. We have over 50% of our student body attends the dances. Is probably the best anything. So we actually added one more dance because there's turning into a fundraiser, because our fundraisers were lacking, but everyone loves to come to the dances, and so we're pretty good at that. The area of weakness I'm finding this year is my recruitment process. Maybe my students are not as gelled or connected or confident. I have a lot of boys who are really good worker bees, but don't take initiative, don't think it through. And I know it's middle school, so I really have to work hard to draw them out, work hard to break down those walls. We haven't had any good cries, we haven't had any really good solid moments as an ASB, and that's the first time ever. So I don't know why that is, but.
And did you have 50% of people coming to your dances previously, or this is a new thing?
No, that's why we've continued. We've had great successes at our dances. They're more of a party and event, and I think they're pretty affordable. We also, students who have a certain GPA get great deep discounts on the dances, and it helps promote that.
Anthony?
I kind of have two.
Sorry, don't really.
I would say the first one would be making our activities all inclusive. Like you brought it up in that activity, and I was thinking we've done that. So at our activities at lunch, I'll just do our most recent one before winter break. We had an area for kids to play board games. We had a mini bike section. We had a basketball shootout section. We had a Jenga section. So kids